And when do
So
you take it apart?
For cleaning purposes,
Each and every
all
time.
this would go back, after every use, would go back to the 3 sinks, and because it's aluminum, it gets washed through the 3 sinks as well by hand.
A free sink. Okay, like
The
a sink like
compartments
that.
of sinks
Okay,
over there.
okay.
And this piece comes all the way off, like that,
Okay.
and then you can clean under there, and clean around in here where your meat or product was sitting there.
I don't see Doc do that though. They just wipe it down.
They need to be
All
taken
they
apart
do is
every
they
day.
just they take a bucket to put water in and they just wipe it down. They didn't
Yeah.
take that apart to wash. So how does that?
That
How
they need
clean
to
can-
be definitely taken apart every day.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then this piece comes off.
So meaning, okay, so when you so you said that, so do we make sure that they do that? I mean, do that
If
so that way we
basically-
can use it?
It wouldn't be your responsibility to take care of the problem, but you would alert me or
Okay.
Nina of that.
Okay,
and
because
then
we
would-
want to use the machine,
that
and then
taken
we
care
don't
of.
want to. I mean,
Well, you don't want to come into a dirty
Exactly,
machine,
that's what
right,
I was
because
thinking.
That's the
food,
basically
our
the
food.
policy is
Yeah.
clean after use and
Okay.
whatnot. So yeah, if anytime that was a problem,
Okay.
then we'd want you to let us know about that.
Okay.
And these just unscrew off the back here.
Okay. So this is what we do
2 knobs. The whole thing.
after each use, or after you're done with
And when you're completely done. In between products, it can be wiped down and sanitized.
Oh.
And so that comes off there. And
Well-
then anytime this blade is off,
Uh-huh.
for cleaning purposes, you want to make sure that
You go
it's
to
completely
all the way.
closed, unplugged, and then as you're cleaning around the blade, or if it's left unattended and taken apart, then
It have
that
to be
blade
on.
cover goes on it. Because otherwise, this shield is on there, and that's protecting you from the blade.
So
But-
either that or that has to be on all time.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's just because for cleaning around and underneath the blade, stuff like that, you just want to protect it.
Can I feel it? I want
Yep.
to see how sharp it is. Ooh.
Very sharp.
Oh God.
And
No.
as far as cleaning, there's a couple different ways to do it. But with the shield on, you want to clean the back of it. And then you would basically just rotate it with a rag and very carefully get underneath there.
Okay.
You never want to put the rag actually over the blade like that and go back and forth. It's always one on one side
Yeah,
and
yeah.
one on the other. And you kind of take the rag and push the blade against it, or vice versa with the rag on top.
Do you wipe it outward
Yes.
also?
Yeah, you don't want to wipe against the blade, or you don't want to.
Sure.
Something the students tend to do is they want to put the towel over the
Yeah.
blade and run it like
Oh.
this, and then
will
that's
cut.
really dangerous.
my
It'll cut
God.
the towel and then
Yeah.
right through.
Yeah. So that's the back.
This is the back, yes.
Right.
How
So-
do you clean the front? Like it's
Well,
just
like
kinda
you would
wipe it?
basically just do the opposite. You'd hold
The
a
same
towel
way,
here
and
and
then
then
move
push the
Move the back.
back with this hand. And notice how I'm keeping my hand on
Yeah.
this side of the guard
Yeah.
instead of up here, so I can't
Yep.
even slip off and go onto the
Sure.
blade. So it's protected here as well.
Okay.
The little sharpening stone fits in this notch right down here, and it just tightens down just like the bolts on there does. And the one just pushes against the front of the blade here and sharpens it, as the other one sharpens the back.
Okay. The cleaning towel, does that have any kind of cleaning solution?
Yes, when you're wiping it down, you would use bleach solution on that.
Bleach
as well.
solution, and then maybe wipe it afterward to rinse.
Definitely.
Okay. So at least twice,
Well,
two passes.
and the bleach solution is okay to leave on there. That wouldn't
Okay.
necessarily need to be wiped off, but dry towel just to wipe it down
Kinda
would be
clean.
good
because
too.
food can go right on that next if we need to.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
In our case, we would have used the meat to slice the meat, and once we're done with it, and we're going to use it to slice any vegetables or any.
Well, we gotta clean
We have to
before.
wipe it down first before
Yeah.
we can
Yeah,
start
before
using
doing
it
the
for another
vegetable.
Or-
product.
The easiest way to do that would be to do the vegetables first.
First,
and
first.
then wipe.
And then-
Because when you're
It's
going
easier.
from vegetables to meat, it would just be a sanitize or a wiping down rather than completely
That's better.
sanitizing and
Yes.
taking it
So
apart.
That's
meaning
better.
the
Yeah.
vegetable first and then the meat.
Yeah.
And I would recommend anytime you did like raw meat on there, you'd want it to take it completely apart because it's going to get the juice in between the blade and the covers and
Okay.
things like
So
that.
this is the routine, that cleaning every day after use. Everything has to take out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, I
Okay.
didn't see that.
Now,
Yeah, they need to be
how
definitely doing that.
much into the shaft here do we need to clean?
Well, it's got this food safe plastic ring around here right there, and that is basically where you need to wipe down and right
As
under
well.
here. And that's
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about things getting in between.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
That's
pretty good seal.
Seal there. Mhm.
Okay. So, but basically down in this area and down all around here as well, we need to wipe them. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Basically clean the machine.
And then we'll put it back together
Let's,
here.
yeah, let's get see your sequence putting it back. Put it in, screw that in. That's screwing on the plate.
Yes. And this screws into that back piece there that is basically holding the blade.
Just hand tight, okay,
Yep.
that's fine.
And tight. You just want to make sure that's good and tight. And you'll be able to tell if it's not put together correctly or if something isn't tight because it'll make noise of the blade rubbing on the plate or a rattling noise if something's not tight enough. And so you have to make sure that once it goes into the big hole and then slides over to the little one, where then you tighten it down and lock it into
Each of
place. And both of them, yeah.
Yeah, just latch on and then twist over.
Yep. And same with the one down here. It just goes into the big spot and then slides over into the small space there.
That's it.
That's it for that.
And
Just
what
those two
about that
pieces.
one right there?
And then this one slides on the moving arm here. And this looks like it doesn't get wiped down as much as it should. And that can get wiped down in this arm back here. And then anywhere that is touched or
Have to be clean.
any, areas like that. And on this one, it's just got a little washer down here. You want to make sure that that's underneath, because otherwise this would just push up through there.
Sure.
And
And that's what tightens it down. And then you just make sure that it's in those grooves, seated tightly.
Flush.
Yep.
and Eric, so let's say we use it to slice the meat, and then we need again. We need it in a few hours. Do we have to clean right after? Okay, we'll let it sit.
What's
and
the
then,
interval of inactivity that we can
Yeah.
have elapsed? Half an hour, an hour?
I would say, well, as long as no one needed it right away, it would probably be half an hour to an hour. But one thing you'd have to worry about is just the product drying onto the machine,
yeah.
and so you'd want to stay away from that. Or if you were gonna do that, then cover it with a wet towel to keep it
okay.
from
Yeah.
drying on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something
So
like
that's
that
it.
would be acceptable.
Okay.
But yeah,
So
Well-
we can just get a big towel, wet it, and then just set it because if nobody else using it but just us. Let's say we don't want to slide the meat too ahead of time. We don't know how much we will consume. So let's say we run out and we need to slice more, and we just used it like 2 hours ago, and we know we're going to be using it, so we just cover it, come back and use it.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine.
that would be definitely fine.
Well, I think
Or wipe it down
schedule-wise,
really quick and then
yeah.
Yeah, so
But
the quick
schedule-wise,
wipe-
I think we want to just do a good batch and put it in the cooler. You know,
Well,
rather than have to
we'll
go
do
back.
some, but then there will be time that we'll need more.
Yeah, emergency is going to
Yeah,
be
things like that. But when we still don't want to keep it too long throughout the day because that's the freshness of the beef, and we have
Well,
a prepping. We'll work into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and as far as the schedule, this will be free after 10 o'clock when Doc
Yeah.
gets done with it, so there wouldn't be any problem of
Yeah.
you guys jumping
Okay.
back on it or
Okay.
because
anything like that.
I think what we want to do is schedule everything within an hour of running. You know, use this for the whole hour, cut everything what we need.
Definitely.
Yeah, emergency will arrive if need to, then we can do that.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
Gloves, mesh gloves that you can get, and that is just another added thing for
Sure.
safety, especially for like catching on the side or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Now those metal gloves will need to also be washed properly after it's used.
Yeah,
Right.
I believe, depending on the type, most of them are just stainless steel, and they could be run through the dish machine on a rack
They're
or
called
something
mesh
like that.
glove.
Yeah, that's both.
Yeah.
So what did that do? I mean, is that like protecting you from cutting?
Yeah, they're basically made
You know,
out of little tiny metal rings,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
a chainmail
Yeah.
armor or something.
Chainmail you wear, if you wear a knife.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they fit kind of loosely, but basically it's just
I think we should
it'll
get
stop
one of those.
the
Okay.
blade, or
Yeah.
there's no way that you can go through the.
Yeah, it will stop.
Oh.
And it's like kind of a barrier.
I
so
have
you
a very
feel
good
the,
imagination, so every time you say something like that, I already could feel it already.
Don't.
Well, I've seen
My God.
plenty of accidents with the slicer.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
are pretty bad.